workout was inspired by many of my friends and clients who are runners, but it's great for anyone who desires strong, stable hips, just to help support them and keep them pain-free in all of their activities. So join me on the floor. We're going to do a quick warm-up, and then later we'll be using a simple mini band. So if you have one of these handy, please grab it now. If you don't have one, they are very inexpensive, super versatile, and I highly recommend having one or a whole set with varying resistances. You can have those for so many exercises. So join me here. We're going to roll through some cat-cow movement, just tuning into our breath, tuning into our body. This is a chance to check in with yourself and notice if you have any sticky spots or any areas that need a little bit of extra love today. Before we get strong, we want to make sure that our joints are moving really well. So now find a nice long neutral spine and we'll shift back towards our heels, going into a nice deep flexion in the hips and the knees. If you want to try a couple with your toes tucked, you'll get more of a stretch in the bottom of your feet. So if you are a runner or a walker and you do a lot of things on your feet, this might feel really good for you. Okay, let's bring one leg out to the side. So we're going to start to do that same rocking, but going deeper into our adductors, that inner thigh area. So just loosening up there, and then let's pause on the next one. You can find the spot in that movement that feels good for you. I have my hip stacked over my knee, but you can actually try this shifted back as well and going into this nice big rotation. So opening up our upper body. Let's go to the other side now and repeat those two things. So one leg out, shifting back, just waking up all those tissues in our hip. One of the things about running is that it's a very linear activity, right? So like everything is in this forward plane. So it's really important to acknowledge the need to just mobilize and strengthen in all the different planes. So you'll notice we're doing some rotational work here, and that's very much on purpose. So reaching that arm up, and then weaving it under, and feel free, if this feels just good and restorative to you, to take a child's pose. Take a breath there, and then we'll make our way up onto our feet. So finding a squat stance, feet just wide as your hips, or maybe a little bit wider. Feel free to come down as low as you're comfortable, and if you can balance and kind of rock from one toe and then to the other toe, lifting your heels. That's great mobility for the Achilles and your calves and ankles. And let's come on up. Let's do that one more time, just kind of rocking. We're also really mobilizing the hips. So this whole workout is going to focus on hip strength, but you'll see it all is connected, right? We have to make sure that our hips, our knees, our shoulders, everything is working well together and feeling good. So I'm gonna move that out of the way so that I don't hurt myself on the next one. Let's go into a leg cradle stretch. So hugging your shin towards your chest and then stepping out into this lateral lunge. So to the point I was making before, this is now working our body in this side to side, this lateral plane. So giving some contrast to the movement, the repetitive movement of running. It's just really good and healthy for our body to do that. And let's do the other side. Giving that knee a hug. Stepping out. Getting that nice inner thigh stretch again. Here too. So hugging in. Step it out. And then final stretch. We're getting a little bit more dynamic. As you can see, we're going to go into a quad stretch. So I'm pulling my heel towards my butt. Knee is pointing straight down. Okay, and then I'm going to step it back into a low runner's lunge, rotate my arm towards my forward leg, step together and repeat on the other side. So stretching my quad, stepping back into the runner's lunge, opening up. Let's do one more each side. You can raise your opposite arm if you like. Rotate. And this one's going to get your heart rate up just a little bit. That's good too. And then let's go ahead and shake it off. If you need a sip of water, grab it, and then we'll get our mini band and get going. So first one we're gonna do is actually on the floor. So bringing your band up around your knees. The one I'm using today is sort of a medium resistance, and you can experiment with different resistances. I would say most of these things you could probably work your way up to a pretty heavy resistance as you gain confidence with the movement. So starting out, knees, hips, and toes are all in line. Shoulders are relaxed. We're gonna bridge up and press into the band. Let's do 10 reps. And if I miscount, forgive me. I'm just gonna ask for forgiveness right now because I'm definitely known to miscount as I'm talking through form cues and everything. But
I didn't get that. Could you try again?
Siri's trying to help me count. So bridging up, press into the floor, squeeze your glute, press it out. Exact rep counts don't really matter. We're just looking for a really great activation in the glutes and a good burn. Make sure as you're bringing your knees back together that you're staying in line with the hips and ankles. So don't let your knees like knock to the center. You want to really control the movement as you press out and as you return to the start. So I think that was at least 10. Let's give our knees a little hug. Massage out our low back. And then come onto our side. I'm going to show you as we go through, we'll do 2 sets of everything today. I'm going to show you a couple of versions. Let's stack your feet, stack your knees. I've got my knees out to about, maybe not quite 90 degrees, but forward of my hips. And we're doing a clamshell movement. So for level 1, I'm just keeping my head down. I'm anchoring myself to the floor. I want you to think about pushing your bottom knee into the ground as you pull your other knee away. So working to avoid any rocking in the torso. You want to just stay nice and stable. You'll probably feel a lot here in the top leg, and then you'll be surprised maybe the bottom leg actually feels it too. So pretty intense on both sides. Okay, I think I'm getting to about 10 on side 1. So let's flip it over and do the other side. So making sure again that you're nice and stacked and anchored into the floor. Press the bottom knee down. And just like with the other exercise, work on controlling that band on the way down, not just as you press away. Control it in both directions. Oh, this definitely gets to be pretty intense by the time you're on the second side, because remember the bottom leg was working on that first side too. So if you're feeling the burn, don't worry, you are absolutely not alone in that. This is tough, this is really hard, but it's good. Okay, so making our way up onto our feet. If you need to shake your hips out a little bit, admittedly, I have 5 exercises for us, all using the band. You're probably feeling the burn, I really am too. So give yourself a moment to rest and prepare, and I'll show you the next exercise. We're gonna lunge to the side and then lunge into a curtsy. So it's out to the side, stepping back. Depending on the tension of your band, it might slip. That's okay, that's totally part of it. We just have to figure it out. So let's do about 8 to 10 of each, and then we'll switch and do the other side. As you're lunging, watch your knees. You want to make sure your knees track over your toes. So if you look down right here, knees and toes should be in line. And then on this front leg, knees and toes should be in line there too. So this is great also for generating power for any types of sports like running, where you're hitting the ground and generating power from that contact with the ground. You can think about that, especially on this part as we lunge out. Okay, bad news, we have 2 sides. So get ready. This one's tough, I know. Step it out, step behind. Step it out, step behind. So again, This is really great for working on those different planes of motion, different planes. We've got this more rotational lunge and then this lateral lunge. So we're just shoring up our muscles, right? When we do something that's very repetitive in one plane, we get certain muscles that work. And some of the neighboring muscles don't work as much. And then that's when we sometimes end up with some muscle imbalances and things that over time can start to cause a lot of problems, make us more injury prone, and just not feel as good. Okay, as I expected, I didn't count. Sorry about that. So I felt like that was about an even burn left and right. So getting ready for our 4th out of 5. We have 5 exercises. We're gonna do a narrow squat, and then squat to the side, and then narrow, and squat to the other side. Side view looks like this. I'm sitting straight back like there's a chair behind me. Squatting out, sitting back, squatting to the side. Let's do 8 each way, 8 to 10. So you'll feel this in the quads, in the glutes. Really all the places are really fired up at this point. We've got a good burn going. Don't worry, we'll stretch at the end, okay? Step it out, step it back. You'll notice I'm staying low, never fully coming up to a standing position. It's a little bit more of a pulse type of pattern, so we're keeping the legs loaded. And, whew, okay. I think that was 8 each way. Our next one, we're gonna keep using the band, but let's bring it down around our shoes or our feet if you're barefoot. So I've got this just wrapped around my shoes. We're gonna work on building strength here in our hip flexors. This is also gonna develop some good core strength. So let's start with our arms like this, and we'll do a march type movement, nice and slow. So we wanna pause long enough that it feels effortful and a little bit uncomfortable. If you want, you can start to kind of move those arms in that same jogging pattern that you would use if you were running or walking. Make sure that your knees are staying in line with your hips. We don't want to see a lot of crossing like this. We're working on keeping that neutral position in our joint while we make it stronger, right? So let's go for 4, for 3, for 2, and 1. Okay, I'm gonna take my band off for a second. Of course, I lost my shoelace doing that. So as we retie the shoelace, grab a sip of water, and we're gonna get ready for round 2. So we're gonna repeat those 5 exercises. For a few of them, I have some options to level up. Of course, this is also a good time to reassess. Was that the right band? If you only have one band, keep the same band. If you have multiple bands, you might decide that a different band would work better for you. So whether you want more or less resistance, this is a great time to go and reselect and then join me on your back. We're gonna get into our second round of our glute bridges. So again, relax shoulders, knees, hips, toes, all in line. We're gonna dig our heels into the ground, press out, control those legs as you come back in. So this is a great one. All on its own. I really don't think this needs any improvement, but if you get curious to try something like a single leg bridge, ditching the press out for those abductors, you can try a single leg. I'm gonna do a few on the other side. This is more just for a demonstration, something you can keep trying. Glutes are so important for running. So a lot of times we get very hip flexor dominant and the glutes aren't really doing enough for us, but they're such a bigger, more powerful muscle. So we really want to make sure that they remember their job, that they're awake, that they're activated. So, okay, that was a little extra pause. Next one, we did our clamshells earlier down here. If you want more of a core challenge added, you can press up onto your elbow, lift the obliques, and do your clamshells up here in a side plank. So whether you're ready for this today or if you want to keep practicing the clamshells down on the floor in the original position, you can always try this down the road. So giving your core a little challenge. And I'm definitely counting more this time because my hips are going to be really tired after this. So motivated to count so I don't do too many. Okay, shoulder right over the elbow. Let's get into that side plank if that's your choice for today. Press the knees away from each other. Work on, again, keeping the torso really stable. If you find that you're really rocking forward and back, take it back down, rest your shoulder on the ground. Practice getting stronger in the hips first and then get back to the side plank version that we're doing now. Oh my goodness. Feeling it, feeling it, feeling it. Okay. Woo. Okay, here we go. Getting back to that lunge, the lateral lunge here, and then the drop lunge. I love this one all on its own. If you have a sliding disc that you can glide out with, that's also a fun addition to this one. For today, I'm just gonna show it with minimal equipment. You don't need a lot to get a good workout. You can do this one without a band as well. So if you don't have a band, these lunges are so awesome for building strong legs and hips. Let's see, I think I've got about 3 or 4 more. Again, watch that alignment of your knees. I'm gonna make this my last one. I'm losing my other shoelace. Mini bands are tough on keeping your shoelaces tied. That's just part of the deal. Okay, lunging out. So especially as we start to get fatigued, you know, this is a short workout, but it's a real burn on the legs, the glutes, the hips. So as you start to fatigue, really pay attention to your form. Watch those knees. Think about generating that power as you push off the ground. It's like a rubber band right here. You're almost to the home stretch. Now, of course, if you're doing this and you've been coming back to this workout over time and you're feeling like you're getting stronger and stronger, if you have extra time, add a 3rd set. But for the sake of this video, I'm gonna do 2 sets of everything. This can be a standalone workout, or it can be more of a prep before a heavier leg day workout. So, okay. This could be a great warm-up. It could also be a great burnout finisher at the end if you've been doing some heavier squats and lunges and things like that. Okay, shoulders down and back. We practiced this last time, doing our squats, kind of staying low. If you want to add a jump in the middle, join me now. We've got about, let's see, I'm gonna do about 8 total. So yeah, making sure you land nice and soft and easy on your knees, shifting your hips back behind you. Side view looks like this. Use your arms, think about that power. Woo, okay, this is my last one. Boom. Okay, final exercise. My legs are actually shaking. So if yours are too, that'll make me feel better. Okay, so I've got the band around my knees, shoulders down and back. Exhale, ribs are engaged. We're gonna go into that marching exercise. So challenging yourself to pause at the top, making sure knees, hips, and toes are staying in line, staying forward, making sure your body is staying nice and tall, not crumpling forward. Connecting with your breath, If you feel that heat in your body, send your body some gratitude. Celebrate that aliveness that you feel. Your body's ability to take on new challenges and do hard things. It's pretty freaking cool, right? Okay, this is gonna be my last one right here. Oh. Okay, shake out your legs with me, my goodness. That was a lot. Of course, I have entire videos dedicated to soft tissue work, stretching. We'll do a quick one right now. So step one leg behind, grab that same side rest, lengthen out your side body, and then without changing your legs, let's take a forward fold. Breathing in, let's just slow things down a little bit. It's a quick workout, but really can feel quite challenging, and my heart rate came up and everything, so it's kind of surprising how those simple movements can really do that. I guess it was the jumps. So taking that side body stretch, I reversed my legs, and then going into our forward fold with the other leg behind. Breathe into your back and let it all go. And rolling up. And then let's come into our quad stretch. Here, standing on one leg. Squeeze your glute on the side that you're stretching. That's gonna help you get a deeper stretch. And then the other side. Squeezing on that side. So nice. And then come down to the floor. Let's take a beautiful figure four. I like to take my elbow as I reach through to grab the back of my thigh, traction my elbow against that top knee side, and I'll get a little bit deeper there, and then I actually even like to rock a little bit and massage out my low back. Feel free to bend and straighten that bottom leg. Take whatever feels good here. And then switch it up, other side. Traction that elbow down. Rock side to side a little. Bend and straighten. And then give your knees a hug. I hope you enjoyed this workout. I hope these exercises really serve you. This is the type of thing that would be beneficial to do at least 2 to 3 times a week to really build strength. Again, it can be a good warm-up before lifting weights, or if you're doing it as a warm-up, maybe just 1 set of each. You really don't need to do 2, or it can be a finisher, or it can be a standalone workout. But consistency is where the results are. So stay with it, have fun with it. Give me a comment if you have any questions or another video that you'd like to see from me.